Hey, it's the Mom Cafe, and this is your host, Ty Spikes, and I am here with the beautiful, the gorgeous, the talented Brittany Lane on our episode entitled Are Terrible Twos Truly Terrible? OMG. This is a definite conversation that I'm excited to talk about. But first, let's talk about our mugs, our coffee mugs for today. I don't know if you guys can see this on the camera, but I love this coffee mug. It does not have anything to do with moms, but at the same time, it does because it says, "Bring me coffee and tell me I'm pretty." Welcome, Brittany, to our show. How are you today?
Thank you. Doing great. Doing good. Taking it a day at a time, moment by moment, second by second. And that's where I'm at right now.
Awesome. Yeah. So tell us, what coffee mug did you bring today?
I wouldn't consider it quite mom, but it definitely explains a lot about me. B, it's my initial. I'm B. I'm being present, being beautiful, being who I am.
Come on now.
I'm being.
Come on, beautiful and being present.
I think
and
that's
being
my word
I
for
love
the
that.
year. Just being.
I love that. Yes. I have a sweatshirt that says, I think it was like, "Just show up." Like, that's just the first step. Just showing up, and we'll deal with the rest later. All right. So the reason why you're invited on the show today, of course, you, ma'am, have a 2-year-old.
Yes.
And so your 2-year-old is the only one you have, right?
Correct. She is the first and only.
Awesome. All right. So before we dive into being two, of course, my first question is just to ask you, what do you think is your favorite part about being a mom?
Favorite part about being a mom? Man. I mean, it comes and goes. It's waves. Motherhood is a wave. I definitely would have to say that I love the cuddles. Those moments where you feel like you can tell that you're needed. That mom. It's like hit or miss. There's some moments where I'm like, yes, aw. There's some moments where I'm like, don't bother me right now. Just let me be. I don't want to be disrupted right now. But I would have to say, as of right now, the cuddles. I love the cuddles. I will have all the cuddles in the world.
And 2-year-old cuddles are so yummy. They're so
they
great,
are.
because they're like so
and
little.
I feel like they're genuine.
Yeah.
They're genuine because they no. That's like their favorite word at the time is no.
Right.
But the moment where they just want to be hugged and like held, I'm like, she's being so genuine right now. Okay, yes.
I miss those 2-year-old cuddles.
So that's my favorite.
Well, just hold on to that, because all of mine are older than 2, and they're not as. I love my hugs still. The cuddles will always be great. Even my teenager sometimes. My teenager likes to hug weirdly, but he like comes and he'll just hug me, and I just let him, But it's so cuter when they're little. All right. My second question is how do you feel like it's how old is your 2-year-old? Can you still hear me? Are you still there? There you go.
I'm here.
All right. So,
so
edit
she
this.
is.
I'm going to ask the question again. We're going to edit that in.
Okay.
So hold on. All right. So the second question is how exactly old is your 2-year-old? Because you as a mom, you know that like the first year, it's months, right? And a lot of people don't understand when you say I have an 18-month-old compared to saying I have a 1-year-old, because a 1-year-old is 12 months. A 1-year-old is also 19 months. And the development is so different. So when as a 2-year-old, you will say 2, but a 2.5-year-old development is a little bit different than someone who's about to turn 3. So how old is she exactly?
So she is 26 months. So she is not quite she's new to. So she's not quite like 2.5 where, she's pushing up to 3. However, attitude-wise, she's 2.
So
with the intelligence of, I would say, a 3 to 4 year old. Like she knows how to trick you. Like that's what
lovely.
I mean. Like she's a little
So that's
bit
what I'm asking. So development wise, is she talking? Is she's walking? She's talking. Is she potty trained? Like where is she?
Not yet. That's what we're hoping to try and get to is potty trained. She's not potty trained yet, but she's walking, she's talking, she is assisting around the house, she is bossing everybody around, even the dog. So when I say like yes, she's 2, but she has definitely multiple layers to herself. Where I don't want to call her bossy, but she's independent. It's that independent nature. And I don't want to kill it, right? Because as an adult, as they get older, somebody who's independent and independent thinker, like I want her to still hold on to herself. But she definitely has her moments of
it's freezing a bit, Fred, so we're gonna have to hopefully edit some of this.
Can you still hear me?
He's in the background, so I'm letting him know. This app, I can hear you now. So go back to it's a bit of a I love it. Okay, yeah. It's the thing is, because I could see her in my head when you're like, she's bossing people around, even the dog. And I remember like my kids, like when they were little, and like they're so tiny, but they're like a little chihuahua. So it's like, no, mommy, I want this. And you're like, how can you so little boss me around?
Exactly.
And then you think about, who are you? Are you me? Are you your dad? Or are you both? So who is she, Brittany?
See, I feel like my husband would say that she is me. However, I can see a little bit of both of us. So she's me when it comes to certain things, like cleanliness. She doesn't like her hands dirty. She doesn't like, if something feels weird, she's like, mommy, dirty, mommy, pick up. Like she'll look at me for
let's fix this. Yeah.
But she has his fearlessness. She is quick to climb.
Wow, that's
turn around and look.
That's a good quality.
And then keep going. It is. When mommy says no, you better get off that couch. Or get off the table.
I love the turn around and look.
She'll look.
Just to see if it's approved.
Yes. She'll look and she'll smile. But she definitely has his fearlessness. So I feel like it's a good combination of both of us. I'm curious to see how it's going to develop with her, like how that will mature, if she will learn.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So tell me, like, what do you feel like you're glad that's over? Like, for example, the newborn stage, you have the spit up, you have the sleepless nights, you have the, and then of course when it's a new baby, check me out on my previous episode when we talked about newborns and bringing them home, but like, just the tiredness, you're sore because you just gave birth and all of that, and then you're at the new baby. Okay, we're at 6 months, so I'm getting used to being a new parent, but it's still baby drool, introducing them to foods, all that. So what are you glad that's like completely over?
I don't know. I can't even necessarily say, because I have to, so even though do we get to sleep in more? Yes. There are still sleepless nights though. Even at 2, because I want to say we went through a 3-week streak of her randomly screaming in the middle of the night. We've now gotten to the point where, she understands we have to sleep through the night. I think that's a concept. Like, she's still getting used to it. But for a while, she was doing great. If I had to answer this question 3 weeks ago, I would say the sleepless nights. Because she would sleep, put her down at 7, she would sleep all the way through about 7 or 8 o'clock. The best sleep.
Oh, wow.
And then all of a sudden, I think it's because, and hear me out, this is my theory, because randomly she pointed to this, and I was like, how do you know that? She saw her nursery twin, and she pointed to it, and I think my husband had told her that was the camera. He was like, yes, that's how Daddy watch you. And she's like, she looked at me, she's like, Mama, can you? And I think it's because she knows that we see her. So she's like, you
Wow.
can see me, then I'm going to start screaming in the middle of the night. And I know
That's pretty deep.
come in here to come and get me. That's why I said she's smart.
That is
She's smart.
very smart.
Because she looks at both of them.
And again, for those who know me, I'm an artist. So when people tell me stories, I can see it in my head. So I can just see her like looking at the camera like, are they looking at me? Are they? And if they are, here like I can see it.
We are going to scream.
Oh my gosh, that could totally be, that's a good conspiracy theory.
And because I'll go in there and I'll rub her back and I'm like, Zoe, what's wrong? She'll be like, Mommy, Cheerios? No. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. No Cheerios. We're going to sleep. Go to sleep.
I love it.
Everybody
oh my God.
Because it's nothing really wrong.
Oh.
Now, there was a couple of times she was like, I had a nightmare. What do you know about nightmares? Now, bad dream? Okay. Maybe.
Wow. I have to meet this 2-year-old. This is hilariously great.
She'll be quick. Or she'll be like, Mommy, book? No, we're not reading a book.
Right.
We're going to sleep. And after explaining to her, I'm like, Zoe, everybody needs to go to sleep. Mommy will wake you up in the morning. I'll be back. She'll whine for a little bit, and then she'll eventually go right back to sleep.
And then she'll say, okay, fine. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Again.
Which is why I think
try it tomorrow or another day. But it's that camp. Wow. That's good. I think it is. Maybe put it somewhere else and see if it, I don't know. I don't know. That's good. That's good. Maybe put it somewhere else so she doesn't see it and you're like, okay, the camera's gone. Yeah. And just see. I don't know. That's good.
She sleeps.
She's pretty smart. You got a smart one right there. So would you say that that's the toughest thing so far? And if it's not, what has been the toughest thing about her being 2? Or what is something that you're just kind of like afraid to like go into? Have you heard any scary stories about being 2,
I feel like it differs based upon kids. Like every single kid is going to be different. I wouldn't call it the terrible 2s. I told my husband, I feel like it's the testy 2s. They test their boundaries. They test like what they can and can't get away with. They test your patience. They want to see your reaction to certain things. So I don't think it's necessarily terrible. Now, if they continue into 3 years old and I'm having to pop you 3, 4, 6 times, then okay, that's another stage of the terrible. But I would say it's more testy. And I think the hardest...
I love that word. I love it.
The hardest part about this stage is, oh gosh, there's so many parts. And maybe too because she's my first. I think it's because too she's my first, so I'm like, am I doing it right? Like, why am I having to repeat this so often? Is it gonna work? I don't know if it's working. Maybe I should switch it up. How long should I do this for? So it's just like I think that's the part that I hate the most. That I'm just like, it's the unknown. It's like I really don't know what I'm doing. But then it's also too like the stages, right? I felt like I got the diaper stage down to a T. Blowout? What? No, never. Like,
got this.
You got the diaper bag, ready to go, lavender scented. Boom, she can hand me a wipe. We can go and help each other. And then potty training. For a while,
you're gonna have to come back for that episode.
For a while, I thought I was winning. So Zoe, we were blessed because Zoe was this summer. So she hadn't even turned 2 yet. She was like, maybe, I would say around, 20 weeks. She was young, and I know we weren't in daycare yet, but she would go to the potty and she would use the bathroom. She would do number 1, she would do number 2, and she would go off.
Wow.
And I was like, man, she potty trained herself.
I got this.
The devil is alive. She went to daycare, and then for a while it was like she was afraid to go into the bathroom to look at her toilet. She didn't want to go near it. She didn't want to touch it. So we saw a huge regression in that sense. So then I was just like, okay, pulling out all the stops, asking friends, trying to get the underwear. And then, of course, her pediatrician is like, don't do it until she's ready.
Don't rush. Yeah.
But listen, when I found out I was pregnant, though, that's when I was like, no, we have to get this down before the next baby comes. Because I refuse to have 2 kids in diapers. It's expensive. So lately I'm like still trying to take it at her pace, but then trying to introduce the restroom. She's no longer afraid of it, so we got that down. We're winning in that area.
Good.
But now it's like the messes. We have her big girl underwear. She'll have accidents.
Yeah.
And so that's the stage that we're in now. And I'm trying.
Well, I encourage you.
Yeah.
I encourage you. I've been through the stage several times. But I'm going to go back to what you were saying about like, and I said this in other previous episodes, and I just encourage you as a mom, because, you know, you only have one, of like, I remember having one and thinking the same thing. I think every mother out there, ladies, you always think like, am I doing it right? And then it took me a couple of kids to recognize that there's no right way other than wholeheartedly loving your child and wanting the best for them and keeping them fed. And it's the first step, keeping them clothed and bathed. Like, that's the simple stuff. But the other stuff is just kind of like putting the sugar on top, and that is no perfection. And that even if you find something you're like, oh, that didn't work, like, it's okay. And just kind of weaving through like the fact that I'm learning, like you're learning how to be the parent that you want to be, but there's still no, you know, I always tell myself like I want to be the epitome of the mom that I had, you know, because my mom was just kind, but my mom was also my mom, and she did not play. Okay. You know, there are things about her parenting that I could think about now that probably more when I was like a preteen and a teenager that I didn't like. And so I try to take those things and try to be the best mom that I can be. But I'm still flawed. And I tell my kids, like, listen, I'm not the perfect mom. I understand that. And I'm working every day to be better. But it doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect in your eyes ever. And you know what? I'm not trying to be.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just encourage you on that, because I remember being there, but also feeling like kind of alone. Like, what do I do? But also, you know, this is another thing, being a Black woman, feeling like I have to figure this out, and I have to do this on my own, and I have to, because I'm a Black woman and I'm strong. But realizing like, okay, that's nothing to do with anything. Like, you be the best mom that you can be. And I agree, having that group of people that you can call and say, girl, I'm confused, or what did you do? And get their advice, but understand that it's just that.
Yeah.
And then you keep trying until you feel like it's the best thing for you. So I encourage you on that. I do remember those times. Oh, all right. So let's talk about this. And I love it that you said the testy twos. I'm going to now think about that, because I'm going to be honest, my twos weren't as bad with my kids. I didn't really think, kind of like what you just said, not bad.
Yeah.
But I like that. It's a different perspective.
Yeah.
And so I feel like terrible is such a negative connotation to your kids. But testy. They're just trying to test things out.
Then,
yeah.
With the tantrums, like, you'll have tantrums. Zoe doesn't have them as much. She definitely has her moments, and we have our thing. Like, okay, you're gonna fall out. So I'm just gonna chill and sit here, and I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. And then when you figure out Mommy said what she said, we'll move on. And then she'll come to me.
That's it.
Mommy, calm. I'm like, you ready?
Okay.
Some mac and cheese. Let's go eat. So
well, there you go. You already have that. Yeah, you have that down. Because it took me a little bit for me, because I'm just like, especially when you first started to like, what is this? Like, oh no. And just looking around like, what do I do with this child? By the second one, call Jesus, go ahead. Pray. And it's so sad, because I remember when my kids used to do like the bad tantrums, I say, praise him. Hallelujah. Yeah, and
I'm gonna take that.
Then they get confused. Like, why is she praising God while I'm going through this?
Yes.
And then I'd be like, "Are you done? Are you done?" And then they done. Like, let me get some Cheetos. You know, like, and it's like, okay, now we can move on.
Yeah. So we got to the point because we have a dog. Hank is big. Hank is a big boy. He's half German, half rock. She'll fall out.
Oh wow.
Hank takes it as his moment of like attention. Like, okay, bet. Let me roll in here. And then I'll look at him. And Zoe will come to me and she'll grab my face like, why aren't you looking at me? I'm like, well, the dog wants my attention too. So like,
hey, he was here first.
He was. So I'm like, I'm giving him some attention. So it is. It's not terrible, but very testy. And they get confused too, but I like that. Right. Praise Jesus. Praise him.
Yes, praise him. Praise him, child. I love it. So you guys, as you heard, she is a fur mama and a human mama, as you heard. So, Britt, tell me, being a mom of a 2-year-old so far, and I know you're still on your journey, but what advice for the women, for the fathers, for everyone who are our listening audience? Give them some sprinkles of delicious advice on where they are. So whether they're at the beginning of the 2-year-olds or at the end of the 2-year-olds, or if you just want to encourage any mom out there that's at the same place that you are, give us some advice for those testy tubes.
So advice and encouragement, I would say, is just be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your child. And I'm still having to learn this as well. Know that they're developing and they're still trying to figure it out. They've only been on this earth for 2 years. And here I am at my age and I'm still trying to figure it out. So I can only imagine the newness. Can I admit something? I want to admit something. This
Go ahead.
When I just like had this epiphany. Embarrassing moment, but real moment. I'm natural, right? But you know how natural is. We all have our moments.
Yes.
So I was throwing out an old wig and it fell on the floor yesterday. She gave the loudest scream of just terror. Baby girl was scared. And I realized she has no clue. She's still learning. She's the concept of a wig. She's like, why would my mama? But
like, what is that? Yes. What animal did you just throw on the floor that's not moving with no eyes?
So it just makes me realize, like, she doesn't have a clue. Baby girl is still afraid of her shadow. She doesn't know. So I'm just being patient. Be patient, and then to learn to laugh.
Oh, that's good.
When they start to,
that is good.
Depending on what it's about. Sometimes she cries over silly stuff. Just like learning to laugh and know that even though...
For our listeners, Brittany is crying right now, which is hilarious.
I just laughed so hard because I'm reliving her moment of terror. I was like, what is she screaming about? And I turned and I was like, oh, she found the wig. She found the wig. So,
and I bet you were like, that would look scary for a 2-year-old. It would.
I would.
It looked like a puppy without eyes and a tail. That's hilarious.
No clue.
That is.
So I'm like,
hands down,
just be patient.
You won for that today.
Be patient and find those moments to laugh, not to take too many things.
So when you think that your child should know or should know better, think about Brittany's wig, guys.
Listen.
Think about it on the ground, huh?
They don't.
You've never seen this wig, huh? What do you expect the child to do?
What is that? And I was like, why is she losing her mind? What is it? I was like, oh, I would lose my mind too. I get it.
I would lose my mind too. I love it. So guys, patience is the biggest thing. Ladies, if you're out there and you just started this journey of 2, we encourage you to be patient and stay in it and just, hey, love yourself, hug yourself, but don't forget to hug that 2-year-old because they're yummy.
Yes.
Thank you, Brittany Lane, for being on my show today. I raise my mug to you. Thank you so much. And here's way, spread love every day, and join us next week on the Mom Cafe. Bye, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.